Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavad Gita, we were discussing verse 6 of chapter 2. Please sing after me. Na chedadvidma katranno gariyo yadva jayema yadivano jayeyu.
न चैताद्विद्महात् कतरन्नो करियो यद्वा जयेमा जदिवानो जयेमु
यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्तेव स्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्रः.
यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषमास्ते वस्तिता प्रमुखे तर्तराष्ट्र.
Good. So we saw that Arjuna was confused and he was unable to decide which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. So he was, thinking in her mind that, oh, these sons of Dhritarashtra, the cute sons of Dhritarashtra who are standing in front of me, how can I kill them? If if this desire is coming in my heart to kill them, so better would be we should not care to live, we should die instead of killing them. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So, yes. Let's see now. We will start with the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. Where is that? So let's see. So before going ahead, let's discuss few points which are very important. You can see Arjuna was saying that, oh, these sons of Dhritarashtra are standing in front of me. So how can I kill them? Instead of killing them, we should die. So now you can think when Arjuna is so much compassionate towards the opposing party. So just think how much compassionate or how much affection Srila Prabhupada might have for us. We are not opposing Srila Prabhupada. We can never think to oppose Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? It's possible that, sometimes unconsciously we break four regulative principles, one of the principles, or, we, distract. That is some other point, but we cannot imagine the good fortune of serving Srila Prabhupada and his representatives. And when we are serving means we are following the instructions of Prabhupada, and following instructions of Prabhupada means following the instructions of Krishna. It's not different. So, yes, we cannot imagine how much affection Prabhupada has for us who are following his instructions. And yeah, like this, if we follow him throughout our life, he will definitely take us back to Krishna. So now when Arjuna is compassionate towards opposing party, then how much compassion he might have, not Prabhupada, Arjuna might have towards his own people, affection towards his own people. So same way we can imagine the affection of Prabhupada towards those devotees who are following him. So just like you might have heard this word partiality. So partiality and Srila Prabhupada, you can say like this. No matter, a person might be lazy or he might not very good in his material duties or responsibilities. But if he is following Prabhupada, his instructions, he's practicing Krishna consciousness, then definitely that is perfection of life. Prabhupada is very pleased. Prabhupada will make sure that he go back to Krishna. Because, we hear from Damodar Leela, Prabhuji also mentioned this, that Krishna was saying that, oh, I have nothing to do with these demigods, Nal, Kuber, and Manigriv. But because my devotee had this desire that I bestow my mercy on them, that's why I'm doing this. Otherwise I have nothing to do with these people. So same condition is ours, because we are following Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had this desire that whoever will chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, he will definitely go back to Krishna. So Krishna will make sure to fulfill this desire of his beloved devotee Srila Prabhupada. So like that. And that's why Prabhupada says that never leave ISKCON. Never leave practicing Krishna consciousness, no matter what, because it's very important. Now, what does it mean to be a representative of Krishna or Prabhupada? Just like you can see, a medical representative will always preach about medicines, about his field. He will preach about it. So, same way, when we are preaching the message of Krishna, we are influencing other people to chant Hare Krishna, or some way or other we are trying to connect those people with Krishna, then that is what it means to become a representative of Krishna. How easy it is to become a representative of Krishna. You simply need to, Arjuna needed to fight. Krishna expected Arjuna to fight, and Krishna is expecting from us that we preach. So for Arjuna, it's fighting a battle, and for us, it's preaching. So it is actually easy than fighting a war. Preaching is easy than fighting a war. So yeah, like that. Okay, let's see the commentary now. Sararth Varshni commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Furthermore, I do not know whether we shall be victorious or defeated in this battle against our revered elders. This is Arjuna's meaning in the word beginning with Na Chaidat Vidmaha. Nor do we know. We already read this in the translation. Again, I do not know which would be better for us, victory or defeat. Here, Arjuna presents both possibilities. On the one hand, he speaks of our victory, and on the other, of our defeat. However, his deeper intention is that even victory would ultimately amount to defeat for us. Yes. So, we discussed this earlier also with an example, that suppose if a person, he um, he basically gave an examination, and suppose he scored very good in that exam. So generally this happens if a son, if any child, if he got very nice exams, very good score in his or her exam, college exam or school exam, so he or she immediately tells about his good score to his parents, isn't it? Children do this. They tell about their scores to their parents. Very first they'll tell to their parents. But now suppose if a person, suppose he gave an examination, an entrance exam for for a university, and he got selected for that university, and suppose now to give this good news to his family members, he called and he came to know that his parents are no more. They are died. So now, will that selection give him any pleasure, any happiness? So, same way Arjuna is saying this here, that even victory would ultimately amount to defeat for us, because even if we win, so there would be no one to celebrate that victory, because everyone will die. So, no one would be there to celebrate that victory. On the other hand, you will see here we discussed a story of Drupad, King Drupad, and Dronacharya. They were, friends in their childhood, but later King Drupad, because he was a Kshatriya, so he became a king of a kingdom, and Dronacharya, because he was a Brahmana, so because Brahmanas, it was culture, at least at that time, that Brahmanas do not earn money. They simply give, simply educate other people. So yeah, he was not earning money, so he was not, his uh, financial condition was not very good. So later when he went to Drupad for help, so Drupad was like that, oh, I don't accept such person as my friend. Such poor people can never be my friend. So later, Dronacharya was very angry on this, and he instructed Pandavas to fight with Drupad. So yes, later when Pandavas went to fight with Drupad, so they defeated Drupad and they came back and they were very happy. So yes, definitely Pandava, when they defeated Drupad, they might have told this good news to Bhishma, and definitely Dronacharya already know that. So just imagine how happy would Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya might be with them. Very happy. They might be feeling very proud of them, that wow, my children or my students, they won this victory, they defeated that king. So, yes, this was very uh, great news for them. But now, here, he had to kill that very Bhishma Deva, or that very spiritual master, Dronacharya. And only then they can win. Victory was not possible without defeating, without killing Dronacharya or Bhishma Deva. They has to die. Only then, they will win. So yeah, that's why he was saying these words, that even victory would ultimately amount to defeat for us. So suppose that person who got selected in that university, if suppose he called his family members, and suppose those family members became so happy, parents became so happy that by their happiness they got heart attack. So I mean, this is an example. It has not happened with anyone, hopefully, but yeah, suppose in so much happiness they got heart attack. So what will that person think? He will think that, good, it rather it was good that I may not be selected in that university, because with this news my parents are no more, they got heart attack. So like that, Arjuna is saying this victory would ultimately amount to defeat for us, because there would no one be left for celebration, or to relish that happiness. Why? Because those very persons whom we do not wish to kill, even at the cost of our own lives, are now standing before us on the battlefield. If we were to defeat and kill them, such a victory would bring no happiness. Rather, it would be no better than defeat. So I hope this is clear. Therefore, by saying, when we conquer them, whether we conquer them or they conquer us, Arjuna indicates that the result of victory for us would, in reality be equivalent to defeat. Hence, he deliberately mentions both alternatives, for neither can bring him genuine satisfaction. Victory without those revered elders would be empty, while defeat would also be undesirable. Now, here Arjuna is putting another point that victory without those revered elders would be empty. There would be, we will not be happy because our loved ones will be no more. But on that also, defeat would be undesirable. Means it's not certain that we win. Possibility is there, opposing party can also win. Thus, Arjuna finds himself unable to determine which course is truly preferable. Now we will see commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan. He will open more things. Let's see. I hope you can see the PDF.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Even though you know that eating by begging is censured for the Kshatriya and that your own duty is to fight, you criticize fighting. Krishna is saying this to Arjuna. So you can see we discussed another story where Arjuna went Duryodhana to take those 5 arrows. Do you remember this story?
I don't know which
So
story.
we discussed that Bhishma, he became very aggressive because Duryodhana was saying very harsh words that, oh, Bhishma Deva, you are attached with Pandavas. You ate our salt, means you were surviving on our wealth, but then also you are showing your affection towards those Pandavas. So on that, uh, Bhishma Deva, he became agitated, he became furious, and he said that, okay, now with these 5 arrows, I will kill these Pandavas tomorrow. Now Krishna was worried about it because Krishna knew if Bhishma took this vow, so definitely he would fulfill that. So later, now I'm not telling this in detail because we discussed this. Duryodhana once gave a promise to Arjuna that Arjuna can ask any benediction from him because he saved his life from Gandharvas. We saw this story. So Krishna already knew because Krishna is God. He knew about this promise. So Krishna told Arjuna that now is the time for that promise to be fulfilled. You need to go to Duryodhana and ask for those 5 arrows. So Pandava went to Duryodhana and he said, oh, brother, do you remember once you promised me that you will give me a benediction of whatever I ask from you? So on this, Duryodhana said, oh, yes, yes. So do you want kingdom? I can give you. I can freely give you that kingdom. But on this, Arjuna said that no, I don't want kingdom in charity. I will take that by defeating you. So here also you can see how Arjuna's Kshatriya mood was active. So because he is a Kshatriya, and even when he was saying that eating by begging, I mean, I will, survive by begging food, I will live in forest, it's better I do not fight. But he was saying these words only in words. He really didn't mean it. He was just saying this in words only for bagging and all those things, but he really didn't mean it because he's a Kshatriya. And Kshatriya means he can never bag. And here from this arrow story also we can see that to Duryodhana he said that no, I don't want kingdom in charity. I will take the kingdom by defeating you as my victory. I will win the kingdom. I don't want. So yeah, here also his Kshatriya mode was activated, and Krishna knew it, that Arjuna is saying this just for the sake of saying. He really didn't mean it, because he is Kshatriya. Very amazing thing you can see here. We saw when Arjuna disguised himself as Brinala. So in that form, he was so enthusiastic to fight. Although his charioteer was, very fearful, Uttar, he was saying, no, 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 I don't want to fight. Let's go. But Arjuna, as Brinala, in that lady form, he was so courageous to fight. But here you can see his charioteer is Krishna himself. And now here in this condition, Arjuna wished to fight from the battle. He don't want to fight. So this is something very amazing, that here he was showing his courage, but where he should actually show his courage, he was not able to do that. Instead, he was stepping back. So yes, like that. Let's see. No, I do not know which is better for me, fighting or begging. I do not know if it is better to give up violence and live by begging, or if it is better to fight according to my duty. I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
And I do not know whether I will be victorious over the Trashtra's son, or they will be victorious over me in the battle once it has started. Now, it's very clear. So, try to hear consciously. It's very easy, whatever Arjuna said. Now, on this, Krishna is saying, so here Arjuna is showing his uncertainty. He is not able to take decision whether he should fight or beg, or if even he fights, then there is no certainty that he will be victorious. So, on this, Krishna is saying, but there will certainly be victory for you, situated firmly in dharma and having great prowess in fighting. So now Krishna, he is assuring Arjuna that it is definite you will win. You know why? Because this land where we are fighting, this is Dharma Kshetra, land of Dharma. And Dharma will definitely uh, help you, situated firmly in dharma. So we saw this in the very first text of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra, he asked from Sanjay. So we saw from the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan only, where Sanjay was also ascertaining that because this is Dharma Kshetra, and Pandavas, they are very pious, they follow Dharma. So definitely they will win, because Dharma Kshetra means any person who is following Dharma, his victory is definite. So Sanjay was also assuring this. He was also very sure about it, that Pandavas will win. And party of Duryodhana will definitely lose this war, because they are the followers of adharma. So this is natural. Any place, if a place is very pious, so you will experience different vibrations there. Just like if you ever get uh, opportunity to visit Vrindavan, you will feel different vibrations in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is a land where Krishna himself performed all of his transcendental pastimes. And actually, it is said, I was reading it in a book, that when Krishna appears in this mortal world, so he takes spiritual world also in this world with him. And that spiritual world is Vrindavan. So this same Vrindavan is spiritual world there. So yeah, so like that.
Was Sri Krishna's abode uh, is the planet Vrindavan Loka?
Goloka.
Goloka Vrindavan?
Yes, Goloka Vrindavan.
Mm.
So yes, externally Vrindavan right now may appear like ordinary place, but you can sense through vibrations that it's not an ordinary place like other places. So yes, it's very I mean it happens. Any place has uh, its influence. So just like Dharmashetra also had its influence because it's a land of dharma. So people who follow dharma, they would be victorious for sure. So that's why
So,
Krishna.
so
Hmm.
uh, sorry, you were gonna finish your sentence.
I was just saying that's why Krishna was saying to Arjuna that there will certainly be victory for you because you're a follower of dharma and this is Dharmashetra.
So like um, there's a beneficial aspect for them. Um, so this is because after Krishna was in Vrindavan, he moved, um, and so this is nearby or much further away.
No, actually, those places are connected. They are not far. They are connected.
Okay.
Yes. So, yes, you can see here Arjuna is not sure. He is, showing his uncertainty. So, he's asking that either I should fight or beg for food, fighting or begging. What is better for me? So Krishna on this said, fighting. Fighting is better for you. Fight. But then
So
on that, hmm,
just wondering, so like when you're saying like he's just saying that he doesn't really mean it, is that like he was just uh referring to it like a figure of speech, like when we say, "Oh, I'd rather die than do that," you know? So he's saying, "Oh, I'd rather go begging than having to, uh, engage like this in fighting," and
exactly.
he doesn't. Uh-huh. Or
Exactly.
is he actually contemplating to go and say, please give me food to every household?
No, he could not do that because it's not possible for him. So, yes, he
Uh,
was saying that in words, just like you mentioned just right now. And
uh,
Krishna knew it. That's why, all these conversation is going. So, yes, he was asking fighting or begging. So, on this, Krishna said, fighting. Fighting is better for you. Just fight. So, on that, Arjuna is saying that, oh, then, it's not certain they will be victorious over me or I will be victorious over the Dhritarashtra's son. So, on this, Krishna is saying they will definitely lose and you will be victorious for sure. And on this, now Arjuna is saying, oh, I will not desire to live having killed all of them. Yan. The sons of Dhritarashtra and elders like Bhishma, what to speak of enjoying the fruits of victory? Though we will be victorious. Okay, Krishna, you're saying that okay, I should fight, and you are also assuring that I will win. But okay, though we will be victorious, we will certainly be defeated in terms of the results. with no desire to live or to enjoy the results of victory. So there would be no benefit of being victorious. Thus, the superiority of fighting over begging has not been established. So, yes, now again, Arjuna is concluding that, but that victory would also be, you know, a defeat. We saw this in commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur just now. Okay, now let's see. Thus, such a verse as this shows Arjuna's qualification for jnana, which is well known in the Shruti. Please sing after me. Tasmadevam vichanta danta uparatastik titikshu. Wait, let me sing again. Tasmad evam vichan. Let me sing it from Sanskrit. It's very difficult for me to sing from here. It's very beautiful verse. It shows one's qualification of, who is qualified to grab or accept the knowledge of Atma Gyan. Atma Gyan means knowledge of soul, education about soul. So, who is that person who is qualified to grab or attain the knowledge of soul? Okay, now please sing after me. Tasmadevam vichanta danta uparatasthitikshu. Titikshu.
Tasmadevam vichanta danta uparatasthitikshu.
Shraddhanvito bhutvatmanya evatmanam pashyet.
Shraddhanvito Bhutvatmani evatmanam pashyet.
Pashyet. Okay. So let's see. Meter was not appropriate, but anyways, let's see. So yes, one who thus has knowledge, who has control of the mind and senses, who is indifferent to the world, and who is tolerant and filled with faith, should see the Supreme Self within himself. Brihad Aranyak Upanishad 4.4.23. So this is very beautiful verse. Let's understand the qualifications, different qualifications. Shram. Chanta means shram. So shram means quality of forgiving. One who is forgiving in nature. Dam means, danta means dam. Dam means who has strength. Now strength to basically accept reality of this material world. Upratas means uparati. Uparati means detached. So one who is detached. So it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, one who is not too much attached to this material world, to his material longings, and one who is not too much detached from his material longings is qualified to accept this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So he is not too much attached that he has no time to chant his rounds or hear about Krishna. He's too much attached with his materialistic things that He has no time for practicing Krishna consciousness. This is too much attachment. And he's not too much detached, that now he's detached even from hearing about Krishna. He's only practicing some meditation, or he is meditating on his breath or on his different body parts, and he's too much detached from hearing Krishna Katha or chanting his names. So yeah, such people are not qualified to accept Krishna consciousness. So that is Upurati, Upuratas. Titikshu. Titikshu means tolerance. Now, we can, take example of Arjuna, then understand it. So we can see Arjuna has the quality of forgiveness for sure. And Dhamma means also he is full of strength. Uparatas means definitely he has no attachment. You can see he is again and again mentioning that I do not want any enjoyment. I do not want kingdom, wealth, nothing. So he is detached. Titikshu means tolerance. Now let's discuss a story about tolerance. Do you know Karna?
Oh yes, was he the first son of Queen Kunti?
Yes. So Queen Kunti had Arjuna before marriage from sun god, as some
Karna.
as prasadam.
Hmm.
She got that as prasad, as some gift. But now she was so shameful that, oh, I've not get married yet. I've not got married yet. And now if people will get to know about that I have this son, so they will offend me and they will speak bad things about me. So then she flowed that child in river, and later by destiny he got some people who you know who were not able to raise any child, but now they were assuming that as mercy of Lord, and they accepted that child as their own child, and now they were uh, basically.
He was on the side of against Pandavas.
Yes, but let's understand a story of tolerance from Karna. So, Karna, he was offended. Basically, he also wanted to get training because, although now he was grown up in a family of servants, but then also because, he has that Kshatriya mode, because he was actually a Kshatriya. So he also had this desire to get training, to, to learn how to use different weapons. So he went to Dronacharya for training. But Dronacharya, he only used to give training to Kshatriyas and not Brahmanas or any Shudra. So he said that, oh no, I can't give you any training because you are not a Kshatriya. So on this, Karna became offended, and then he went to Parshuram for training. And now, because no one would accept him and train him, so he lied here. He tell a lie that I am a Kshatriya. I'm not a Brahmana. Sorry, no, 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 no. So Parshuram, he said that I only give training to Brahmanas and not Kshatriya or Shudras. Now this was different case. So in order to get training from Parshuram, he he tell a lie that I am a Brahmana. So Parshuram said, "Oh, okay, let's begin with the training." So once Parshuram was taking rest in the lap of Karna. because Karna was again very sincere disciple of his guru, and now guru was taking rest in the lap of Karna. And now Karna, he was sitting and he was, very happy that, wow, my Guru Maharaj is so nice. He has faith on me. He was feeling very grateful. So suddenly an insect came and he started biting to Karna. And that insect was, so I mean, it was not very, that insect was something, when that insect would bite, so blood would come. And this is what happened with Karna when he was sitting. So that insect came, and that insect entered into the body of Karna and started biting him. So now Karna thought that, oh, my spiritual master is resting and I can't disturb him. So I will remain still like this. You know, I will not move. So after some time, you know, uh, the floor was filled with so much blood. And Parshuram, he got up and he saw everything and he said, "What is this? What is this? Why didn't you move when that insect was biting you?" So Karna said that, no, my spiritual master, I didn't want to disturb you. That's why I didn't move. So on this, Parshuram, because he was wise, he understood that Karna lied from him, because a Brahmana, he is very soft natured and he cannot tolerate such pain. Only Kshatriya can tolerate such pain. So, Kshatriya, they are like this. They feel very pleased when, bows enter in their body. So they feel very nice that, yay, because they are Kshatriya. So such pain is pleasing to them. So, yes, Parshuram understood this, that you are definitely a Kshatriya, because only Kshatriya can be so much tolerant. He can only tolerate such pain. So, yes, this is the story where we learned the meaning of Titiksha, real tolerance. Next come, you want to say something?
No, just acknowledging. Yeah, that makes sense. So he could but Parashurama would only train brahmanas and train them with knowledge. I see. Yeah. Okay. So I imagine then things changed for him, because like what you're saying, that's where he gave it away. He was Kshatriya. Yes, I don't know much about him, but that's very interesting.
So please try to understand. Parshuram is the spiritual master of Karna, and this is different Parshuram. And there is another Parshuram, that is Lord Parshuram, which is incarnation of Krishna. He, the Lord, is spiritual master of Bhishma Deva. So these Parshurams are different. Both are different.
Okay. So they're yeah. Sometimes names are
Same.
Yeah, if they are popular.
So these both Parshuram are different. Because you will see Bhishma Dev was also a Kshatriya, but if this Parshuram is saying that I would only train Brahmanas, but Bhishma Dev was not a Brahmana, he was Kshatriya. So yes, Lord Parshuram was the spiritual master of Bhishma Deva, and this Parshuram, who is the spiritual master of Karna, is different.
Okay, yeah, thanks for explaining that.
Yes.
Otherwise, Yeah.
Okay. Next word is Shraddhanvito. Now, Shraddhanvito means, now this is very interesting word. One should have faith in spiritual master, only then he can accept Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, or Atma Gyan, education about soul. Because, if any person will not have any faith in his spiritual master, then how will he be able to accept the knowledge? So, faith should be there. It's very important. And yes, we also need to have these qualities if we, want to realize ourselves as soul. So these are now tolerance is, for our tolerance is not like there's any snake is biting us or any insect is biting us. So we remain still. This tolerance is not for us. Tolerance means that, whatever weather come, whether winter or summer, we are still practicing our sadhana. We are still chanting and hearing about Krishna. That is tolerance for us. Forgiving, we learned this so much that devotees should be forgiving. We should not hold grudges. Otherwise, it's not good for our consciousness. So, we should be forgiving and we should have detachment from these worldly affairs. Only then we can fix our mind in Krishna. Otherwise, our mind will run in, these mundane things. And faith in Guru is very important. We should have firm faith in Prabhupada that whatever process he has given us, this will definitely give us love of Godhead.
So
So,
that's
yes.
what Shraddhan Vito
Yes.
signifies.
Yes.
Faith in Guru. Um, yeah, I came across just the word Shraddhan or Shraddha.
Shraddha means faith.
Ah, so Shraddha alone is the faith. I see. Um, that's interesting because it does have the word Radha in it.
Yes. Radha. Okay. Good. So, we saw this. In verse 32 of the first chapter, he displays control of senses. So, definitely, this, Dhamma, Shama, Titikshu, these are sense control only, because only when a person would practice sense control, then only he'll be able to tolerate. So, tolerance means we are controlling our senses. So our mind is telling us that, oh, it's, winters, let's just sleep, it's okay. We will do chanting later. It's not important to wake up early in the morning, especially it's very hard to wake up early in winters. So it's monsoon here, and I face difficulty to wake up early in morning, but still, I just preach my mind, no, 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 if I'll not chant now, then it would become difficult for me later. So, yeah, that way we should try to preach our mind and we should not be preached by mind. It's very, wise choice. So, he displays control of senses and mind, Shama and Dhamma, by saying, what is the use of kingdom? Enjoyment and living. He shows indifference, upurati, to the enjoyment of this life and the next life in verse 35 of the first chapter with the statement. Now, see, whatever these qualities are, Shama, Dhamma, Upurati, Titikshu, and Shraddha. So, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan is trying to explain here the qualities of Arjuna, that how Arjuna has all these qualities, and he is quoting different verses which he said, which shows his these qualities. So in verse 32 of first chapter, he displays control of senses and mind by saying, what is the use of kingdom, enjoyment, and living? He shows indifference, that is detachment, to the enjoyment of this life and the next life in verse 35 of the first chapter with the statement, I do not desire to kill them, even if I have sovereignty over the three worlds. So here he was detached. He didn't want kingdom, even, uh, yeah, he didn't want the enjoyments even of the three worlds. When he says in the previous verse that it is better to live by begging, he shows his tolerance of dualities, of nature, titiksha. His deep faith in the words of the Guru, Shraddha, will be shown in the next verse where he will surrender himself to Krishna. That, oh Krishna, now I am your student and please guide me. Like that. So, we surrender to someone only if we have faith on that person. We only, accept one's guidance only when we have faith on that person. Otherwise, people on YouTube, they are giving lots of guidance, but we do not follow everyone on YouTube, isn't it? So yeah, like that. One does not have qualification for receiving knowledge if one is devoid of these traits. Just as a lame person is not qualified for actions. Now, this is very beautiful point. Suppose a person, he does not have a hand. So, how will he be able to perform any sacrifice, any yajna? It's not possible, right? So, like that, if any person has no faith in Guru, or he has, yeah, basically, faith in Guru is the primary thing. If he has faith in Guru, he will hear the instructions of spiritual master. Then, gradually he will uh, become qualified and he will have all other qualities gradually. So, yes, without faith, he cannot attain Atma that is education about soul. So, suppose a person, if he is wearing a t-shirt and on his t-shirt he has a photo of his spiritual master, or even he made a tattoo of Shri Krishna, but he's not chanting, or he's not practicing sense control or hearing about Krishna, then how will he attain education about soul? So wearing t-shirt of Guru Maharaj or tattoo will not, give him realization. He will have to practice. He will have to practice sense control. He will have to chant. Only then he'll be able to realize himself as an eternal servant of Krishna. So I hope it makes sense.
Um, yes. Um, like um, like if you tell you were telling this story um of Vyasa Dev's um progeny, his children, and so um it's like I wasn't questioning like, oh, like where is it, because like I I trust that you know it. I don't know if your spiritual um guru said to you, or how. I imagine I take it that is true, you know so like that, I suppose is what you're trying to say. But sometimes, um well, very often actually, in if I read with other groups, sometimes they're very picky about no, you have to say, so where is this? Um, but I think there's a very different energy. Like if you go and you look up you know, like you're saying, from the internet, it can be like someone um, made a blog, or you can find in the Shastra itself. But I think like if you're hearing it directly, it is then you are having that faith, isn't it?
Yes, this is true. And if you ever wish to share these stories, you can definitely do that. And you can even ask for the reference. I would share it on the chat. If they need reference for
Mm.
whatever you share with them. So yeah, you can share the reference.
Oh,
Uh,
that's very kind.
from- yeah, you can do that. So
Because
stories are
there.
very nice. Stories are very nice. My mother also hears such story with great interest, although she don't like to hear shastras, but she loves stories. So yes, stories are very nice. And when we
Yeah.
discuss these stories, go deeper in our mind. We learn those stories even better.
Mm,
So yes, we should discuss.
yeah. And there is a concept of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Uh, I have heard. Um, I think, from ISKCON.
Yes. So we should hear scriptures in association of devotees under the guidance of spiritual master. So this is what we do.
Mhm.
Okay, now let's see the purport of Prabhupada. It's not very long, so let's finish it today only. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory. Now, before we go ahead, begging is not very easy thing. We discussed on this earlier also that it's actually very shameful. If Arjuna was so famous, because he was a warrior, everyone knew it. But if we talk about ourselves, so we are not very famous, but then also we will feel shameful if we even think of begging. We can never do that. So it's very difficult, especially for a person who is so famous, and especially a kshatriya. It's impossible. So yeah. Nor was there certain. So I was thinking, I went few days ago to those people on the streets sitting on the road. So I was literally finding myself very fortunate that we are so lucky. Krishna has given us house to live, we can eat nicely, we are honoring Krishna prasadam, and Krishna is blessing us with such consciousness that what we should eat and how we should behave, isn't it? I was feeling myself very grateful. And it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that we have been provided according to our need already. So we should not hanker for more. We should not be greedy to have more, because Krishna is already supplying us enough for our maintenance. And especially, he takes care of his devotees very nicely. So, yes. So I was feeling myself very grateful that thank you, Krishna, you're so nice. So, yeah. It's not very easy to survive like this. Nor was there certain of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. So, we are simply reading it because we have already discussed all these points in previous commentaries. So, it's very clear now. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in royal household, is another sign of detachment. So this was his detachment. This was not his cowardiceness. He was not, coward or fearful. It was his detachment and compassion. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities, combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Sri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicate. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation of the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. So, sense control means very easy way to controlling our senses to engage our senses in service to Krishna. So from tongue, we are only, please highlight this point, only consuming the remnants of Krishna or speaking about Krishna. Of course, this is not always possible that we only speak about Krishna. But, some way or other, if with all our senses we are serving Krishna in some way or other, so that is sense control. In fact, if we only consume Krishna prasadam, then that is also sense control, because we are not eating outside like goat. Goat eat everything or anything outside, but we are not eating like that. So that is also sense control. You can, make very lavish meal for Krishna, you can offer it to Krishna and you can relish that prasadam. That is also sense control, because you are only consuming Krishna prasadam. So you can see it's very wide. There is no, you don't have to, uh, kill your desires. If you want to have something like very lavish food, dessert, or something like that, you can easily make this and offer that to Krishna and consume that. Or whatever things you wish to have, you can simply offer it to Krishna and have it. That is sense control. And another way for sense control is to associate with mode of goodness. I mean, practicing mode of goodness in life, waking up early in the morning and consuming simple light food and other whatever, activities comes in mode of goodness. That is very helpful for our bhakti. So, yes, without sense control, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes over and above this enormous attributes in his material relationships. So, yes, with this, we have completed this point. And it's very important that if one will remove any of these qualities which we discussed today, so he will not be able to elevate to the platform of knowledge. So everything which was mentioned in today's verse, one should try to practice all those things in order to elevate to the platform of knowledge. Otherwise, it's difficult. So, like that.
Yeah, it's so such a blessing to be able to see these acharyas purports. Because sometimes um, s they can complement the other one to the other, and yeah, this particular one of Srila Prabhupada, I'm trying to understand. Um, so he seems to be agreeing with Arjuna's attitude, like saying, yeah, he's a very virtuous person. So I don't know if I understand um
Mm-hmm.
if at this point he's just acknowledging that Arjuna is very righteous, um, sensitive person, yet he still has got the ignorance that he doesn't want to fight.
Yes. So you can see, even if any person, he is not Krishna conscious, but if he has these qualities in some way or another, even, in he has these qualities in minute level, then also he's qualified to accept Krishna consciousness. Basically, Prabhupada is trying to tell here that which person, what kind of person is eligible to accept the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So if we talk about ourselves, so you can see, because we had faith in the words of devotees, that's why we accepted it. Otherwise, you will see many people, you cannot, if you preach, you try to preach people, but not everyone is submissive to have faith on the words of devotees, isn't it? Or not everyone is, it's very difficult, or they just say no to follow any sense control. But when we were told that, oh, you should offer food to Krishna, so we were like, yes, what's the difficulty? Because Krishna is so nice, he never disappears our food. So what's the difficulty? We can offer the food. Food will not disappear, plus it will become spiritual. So what's the difficulty? We can offer. So yeah, like that. But not everyone have such eligibility or such faith to follow the instructions of Krishna, or whatever devotees preach. So yeah. So basically, Prabhupada was telling who is eligible to accept the knowledge. And for that, he was sharing, he was mentioning about Arjuna, that Arjuna, because Arjuna had all those qualities, that's why he was eligible to accept the instructions from Krishna.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. It's very good. Thanks.
Yes. Okay, so with this, let's stop here. Thank you so much for your association and time. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.